Hello. I'm James, and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible. And that is only by listening to it. If you want to support this podcast, read transcripts, and get exclusive access to more content, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. So, as we say in Manchester, get a brew on and let's get started. In this episode, I'm going to talk about chores. But what exactly is a chore? A chore is any kind of activity that you do, usually in your own house or around your house, to care for it, to make it clean, organised, and a nicer place to spend time. They're usually small things that you need to do regularly, maybe once every day, or once a week, or just once every 2 weeks. Sadly, most of us have to do chores. They're not always fun. In fact, the only time we probably don't have to do them is when we are babies or young children. So we all have to do chores, but as we get older, it feels like we do more and more and more of them. And when you have finished doing your chores, it's almost time to start doing them all over again. In fact, there's probably some chores that I should be doing right now, but I prefer talking to you instead. Anyway, so in this episode, let's talk about some of the most common chores that we all have to do. The first is quite generic or basic, but it is tidying up. Tidying up is what you need to do before you can clean things or do any other chores. You put things back where they are supposed to be. You organize all of your possessions so they are not around the house. In my case, that usually means picking up my cat's toys from the floor and putting them away. Or picking up and putting away all my shoes and sandals that I have left on the floor in different rooms of the house. When everything is tidy, the next chore you can do is dusting. And prepare yourselves for this next sentence. You have to use a duster to dust the dust from your objects. For example, when you leave something for a long time, dust accumulates on top, on the surface of the thing. And then you dust that dust to clean it. And to dust the dust, you use a duster, which only now I'm realizing sounds completely ridiculous. Another chore is cleaning the floors. To clean the floors in your house or flat or apartment, wherever you live, you start by vacuuming or hoovering the floors with a vacuum or a hoover. Again, I know. With a hoover, you can remove pet hair, dust, and anything else from the floors. Then, depending on the type of floor you have, you can sometimes mop your floor to clean it. But typically, you only mop hard floors, like floors made from wood or tiles. You don't need to mop carpet, for example. A quick hoover will be enough. And now you have a clean floor, and you can walk on it in bare feet without shoes or socks, and it feels super satisfying. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. Finally, I'm going to talk about the first chore I had when I was a kid, when I was younger. I would say that my first job that my parents gave to me was washing the dishes. Me and my brother had to wash the dishes. We had to share the chore every day. And every day we argued about who was going to wash the dishes and who was going to dry the dishes. I always thought it was easier and faster to do the drying, but I think my brother thought the same. just grab a towel, dry the dishes, and that's it. No dirty water, no dirty pots, no dirty pans. But I suppose one advantage of being the washer is that you were always finished first, and you could go and run off and play video games or play with your friends outside. If you had to wash the dishes, which did you prefer, the washing up or the drying up? Or were you lucky? Did you always have a dishwasher in your house when you were growing up? So all you had to do was load it and unload it. Now, today, in our house, we have a dishwasher, and if I'm being honest, I will be happy if I never have to wash another plate again. Anyway, let me know, what's your least favourite chore? Or maybe you have a favourite chore, a chore that you find particularly satisfying. You can tell me in the comments or send me a voice message on Spotify. Until next time. That's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me what topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, if you want to support this podcast and get access to all of the exclusive episodes, you can do that on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.